Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Abeer's Book Reviews, and today I'll be reviewing this book, American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis. Here it is. And yes, this is the same American Psycho that the movie is based off of. The very famous movie uh, made a couple years ago, probably over a decade ago. So, getting into the content of the book, I just have to say as a preface that this is perhaps the most disturbing book I've ever read. And there's several reasons for that, and you would know what I mean if you've seen the movie or even read the book. But the book basically revolves around this one character, Patrick Bateman, and his life, his everyday life as a member of the New York high society, or so-called high society. He works on Wall Street, investment banking job, and he makes a lot of money. He has everything he needs, but in the end, there's a lot of things fundamentally missing from his life, which he's not able to fulfill, and that lead him to sort of traversing down the path of a psychopath. Um, the book can be described as sort of a caricature of the modern American dream or ideal life that society has created. Even though this book was written, I'm pretty sure it's set in the 1970s or somewhere around that time. But even then, it paints this picture of high society people in New York working on Wall Street, making a ton of money, but they still lack something very innately human. They still lack this sense of belonging. They lack this sense of meaningful friendships and meaningful relationships with people. And that is what this book revolves around. It's basically Patrick Bateman trying to live up to the ideal, the ideal life of a New York investment banker. And in the process, what happens is he dwells into this life of constant comparison and contrasts and such. So whenever he meets someone, it's a very commonly reoccurring trait is that he basically looks at them and analyzes not only their personality, the way they speak, etc., but gets into the more sort of shallow judgments of people. Like, oh, is he wearing a Loro Piana suit from last season? Is he wearing a Hugo Boss T-shirt that was released 2 years ago? What brand of shoes is he wearing? What brand of belt is he wearing? Based on his manicure, looks like he goes to such and such place, and it's not as expensive as the place that I go to. And you see someone walking out of a less expensive gym than you go to, and it's that sort of constant judgment. That's one, at least one half of the book. The other half of the book is Patrick Bateman acting out his inner psychopath. So all these years of constant comparison and trying to live up to the perfect ideal of a New Yorker sort of break him to be a murdering fanatic. He goes on killing sprees, all over New York, and his victims vary. He targets everyone from his friends to beggars on the street in some of the most heinous ways. And I think Bret Easton Ellis does one of the best jobs I've seen of instilling that fear of, or that horror of killing in writing. It's not like other murder mysteries or fiction novels you read where you're like, oh, person died. Okay, next page. It's much more than that. He goes into the very gruesome details and depths, not only the physical aspect of it, but the psychological aspect of it that went behind this. And he does a very great job of building this up right from the start all the way to the end. And that's the ending is it's amazing. It's a beautiful ending. It's something you would never expect. I don't want to give away too much because I think that this is a very, very great read. It's purely fiction, but if you look at it with the right lens, with the right analytical lens, you will be able to find a lot of parallels that reflect, maybe in the 1970s life of a New Yorker, but definitely in today's society, 2025 postmodern society. You'll see a lot of reflections of that, and it gives you time to think, and it gives you room to ponder about what direction are we headed in. What are the things we prioritize, and what's the attitude we have towards dealing with people, and what are the bases of judgment that we impose on people, that sort of stuff. It's an amazing read. I don't think it's for everyone. And the reason is I haven't been disturbed by a book ever until this one. It's slightly disturbing. It slightly messes with your brain, but it's amazing. It's an amazing book. If you think you can take on, a slightly, a slight psychological twist, or you're okay with dealing with the fact that this book might not be the most comforting piece of literature ever. You're going to be, it's going to be pretty off-putting in a lot of parts. But if you can go beyond that, if you can look beyond that, I think it's a great read for a lot of people, especially for young people. So yeah, I think that's it about the book. I don't want to go too much in detail to spoil, anything. It's an amazing book. I think you should read it for yourself to figure out, and align with what I'm trying to say, or maybe add your own thoughts and into what I said. Here's the book once again. That's it. If you enjoyed this review, make sure you hit the like button. If you're new and haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel to keep receiving more videos like this one. I've been Abeer Rao, and thanks for watching.